All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Week Unloaded. As you can see, I got my logo working this week. Problem is, it's now got a white ring around it, and I can't figure out how the hell to get rid of it because that should not be there. But for some reason, it keeps wanting to show that no matter what I've done to try and fix it. So we're going to have to deal with the white ring around my logo now. Again, I don't know what's causing that. And no, Packrat, I did not pull a Gary. I was having a little bit of technical issues for some reason that didn't want to start my countdown and other stuff, so it took a minute to get it going. But once I got that sorted, we were good to go. But yeah, anyway, white ring, can't do anything about it. I don't know why it's messing with my logo the last 2 weeks, but it is. I'll have to play around with that at some point this week coming up and see if I can get that situated. But yeah, because it hadn't been doing this. I don't know what happened starting last week that's causing my logo to not show up properly. But yeah, it's annoying. But anyway, welcome to this week's episode of This Week Unloaded. I am your host, Rich White, as usual, and happy Father's Day out there to everybody who is a dad or stepdad or grandfather who takes care of their grandkids, all that kind of stuff. Anybody who's in some way, shape, or form a father figure for somebody, happy Father's Day to you. So, and out there on the YouTube side so far, we've got one person, that'll be Packrat's Addict, so evening to you, and the mystery one person over on Rumble, which I still think might just be me. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm not actually watching on Rumble, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I tried anyway. Going back to the logo thing, I tried changing the logo on the 2 different channels I have, and it's still doing that for whatever reason. Again, like I said, I'll have to play with it this week and figure this out, get it situated. But yeah. So, well, nobody's saying anything out there on the YouTube side. So. Says I got one watching on YouTube, one on Rumble. I don't know how big of a crowd we're going to have tonight with it being Father's Day. I don't know how many people are doing stuff with family still and whatnot. But I was tempted to go an hour late tonight because of being Father's Day, but I decided, heck with it, I'll go my regular time. It'll be a short show if nobody else shows up. That's all I know. Because I only got the one topic. You make any less noise. No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I thought I was being quiet.
So, what is our topic for tonight? Well, earlier this week, or this past week, since Sunday technically is the beginning of the next week, on Thursday there was a ruling out of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which at least one gun tuber is claiming somehow damaged the NF is damaging to the NFA. Now, I don't know if this person only read part of the ruling or is just a complete and total dumbass. I tend to want to go with the latter because of who it is. And yes, I will call him out. It's Guns and Gadgets, that idiot Jared, who I have met in person and can't stand the guy. He's a total douchebag. If he watches or somebody who's a fan of his watches and is offended by that, I don't care because he is. Gary has met him as well, and Gary didn't like him either. Speaking of, because Gary is out there in the YouTube chat. He does have a link, so maybe he'll jump in here if he's not busy. But anyway, Mr. Jared over at Guns and Gadgets seems to think that this ruling is damaging to the NFA because in part the Fifth Circuit ruled that suppressors are a protected item under the Second Amendment. But he seems to have ignored is also the fact that this ruling is based on a conviction of a guy who was caught with multiple unregistered suppressors and was convicted of multiple violations of the NFA. What the Fifth Circuit did that he doesn't seem to understand is upheld or affirmed those convictions. Meaning what? That the Fifth Circuit affirms that the NFA can regulate suppressors. If anything, the Fifth Circuit's ruling, while saying that yes, a suppressor is a protected item, said flat out, point blank, that yes, the NFA does have jurisdiction over suppressors and that you do have to register them. In no way, shape, or form was this a ruling that hurts the NFA's regulation of suppressors. And we are joined by Mr. Gizzard Gary. How are you tonight, sir? What?
Checking my equipment. Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, we're just talking about how stupid Guns and Gadgets is with his video saying that somehow the Fifth Circuit's decision on Thursday hurt the NFA when in fact it strengthens it.
But you got to understand how this guy operates.
Oh, I know how he operates. That's why I called him a dumbass and a liar, basically.
He he's very much a sky is falling kind of guy. He gets his views based on scaring people.
Well, he did the exact opposite with this video. This video, he's telling people the NFA was weakened when it wasn't. It's the opposite. The NFA was strengthened. So this isn't even a sky is falling thing. This is a, hey, we won something when we really didn't situation. Because the worst part is he even posted the ruling in the comment section of his video. I don't know if he only read half the ruling, where the part where they said that, yeah, suppressors are a protected firearm under the Second Amendment, and then just totally decided he wasn't going to pay any attention to the fact that they affirmed the conviction of the guy who had all the unregistered suppressors that he was convicted of having.
Let me
Saying
ask you
that
this. Let me ask you this. When there is news on Supreme Court rulings, who's one of the first channels on YouTube to have a video out on it.
Oh yeah, and he's usually wrong.
There's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not putting a lot of time into his research.
Oh.
He's more concerned with being the first one out with the news.
Yeah, I still find it funny though that he apparently didn't read the whole ruling, but still has the ruling in his
Right.
comment, his video
That's
description.
what I'm
Meaning,
saying. He didn't take the time
no,
to do all the research he
no,
needed to do.
no. He saw protected by Second Amendment. That hurts the NFA. Didn't take the time to realize that in the process of that ruling, the Fifth
Right.
Circuit says that they're still able to be regulated by the NFA. He only read part of it, the part that he liked, and forgot the rest of it. And that's what I'm saying. It's Packrat's asking, who are we talking about? Guns and Gadgets, was it Gear and Reviews or some nonsense, which he doesn't even do anymore?
Guns and Gadgets Second Amendment News, I think, is what he calls his channel now, or at least he did for a while.
Yeah. His name's Jared. I forget his last name. He's a
I know, but I can't remember right off the top of
I
my
can't
head.
either, but he claims to be a
Jared
former law.
Yanis.
Yeah, that's it. He claims to be a former law enforcement officer in Massachusetts and all this other stuff. And he like Gary said, he likes to jump the gun, be one of the first people out there with stuff when it has anything to do with a court ruling. And usually his interpretation of the court ruling is wrong in some capacity. In this
Much
case, he
like
got it totally wrong.
much like another guy out there by the name of John Crump. But
Mm. I even for more in depth on this, I have an article from the Reload pulled up on the situation in the ruling, so we can look at
just
that as well.
just remember, these people are not legal analysts by any
Oh, but
stretch of the imagination.
Jared seems to think he is, though. If you listen to him, 'cause he'll play the
So
good
tell
with
me
40
where
card.
he got his law degree
Oh, he doesn't have one, but
or
because
his
he's a
pre-law
former,
degree.
yeah, because he's a former law enforcement officer, he thinks that he is a legal analyst.
Oh,
That,
anybody ever hear of a law enforcement officer that
mm-hmm.
wasn't fully invested? That's
Oh,
very common.
I
They
know.
are not legal experts.
No, they aren't.
They can't be, or they wouldn't be police officers. Let's be real. There's no money in it. So, if you went to law school, would you be a police officer? No. Chances
I,
are, no.
I've known police officers that did have their law degree. I,
Either you couldn't pass the bar or you were disbarred.
no, they were an attorney who quit being an attorney to become a cop. I've seen it, and I've seen the inverse where a cop quit being a cop and became an attorney. So it does happen. I don't think it happened with him.
I don't have personal knowledge of it, but I have my doubts. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so I'm saying I don't think it happened with him.
It's just these these YouTube channels, they have hundreds of thousands, millions of subscribers. And much like Rich White or Gizzard Gary or anybody else, these are just people
Mm-hmm.
that just happen to have a forum online, and he happens to be real good at speaking. He's convincing. He does good videos. Let's put it that way. He's got a voice that people want to listen to and stuff like that. And he's popular. But just remember, they are not legal experts. It doesn't mean they're always wrong, but it means you should question what they say and do your research if you want to take it as gospel. Don't take it as gospel, back it up. There, he could very well be right on some of the stuff he said. That's the thing. He's not always wrong. He's not intentionally wrong, I don't think.
No, I'm not saying
If
he's
that
not.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying
he's
he's
evil or
intentional.
anything like that.
I I just think that in some cases he needs to do better research. But that's my problem with him is he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't do due diligence before putting a video out there because he wants to be out there as fast as he can. And he's doing a disservice to everybody who watches his videos by doing that, because he gives them misinformation. Like in this case, if you would just took 5 minutes, because it's not even a long decision. It's not like the one that I read on channel a couple weeks ago. This is only a couple pages long. It's not a long ruling. He could have read that 5 to 10 minutes and realized, oh wait, no, this isn't what I thought it said at all.
Are
But
you
instead,
using a new mic?
who, me? No,
Yeah.
no, same one.
I don't I don't know if it's you or if it's me, but you're coming completely on the left channel on my AirPods.
I don't know. I don't know if you're
I
there
hear
with
you
me.
just fine, but only in one ear, which is weird. I need
I don't know.
somebody else in here. Oh, Packrat says he sent me a link for radio. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he also says Mark Smith and William Kirk covered the ruling too. Yeah, and came to different conclusions than what Jared did, and so did the Reload. But I don't think they did a video on it. At least I didn't see them where they did a video on it. But they did do a written article on it, which again, like I said, I have pulled up.
Now
And take a
I like channels like Armed Attorneys, for example, because you know good and well you are talking to legal experts
Yeah.
there.
Well, Mark Smith is he's an attorney who is part of the Supreme Court bar, meaning he's certified to take cases to the Supreme Court. That's the one he does. What is it? Four Boxes Diner, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, let me pull this article up since I've mentioned it a couple of times now. Share that. All right, over here so I can read it. Again, this is from the Reload and is written by Stephen Getkowski. I hope I pronounced his name right. And that's from the 18th when the ruling came out. Fifth Circuit panel rules silencers are protected arms, can still be regulated. The Federal Appeals Court, it was Fifth Circuit, has ruled the Second Amendment covers silencers, but that doesn't mean the government can't restrict them. On Thursday, a three-judge panel, so this was not en banc, it was only the three-judge panel, on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously upheld Brennan Comeaux's conviction for possessing unregistered silencers. Comeaux argued silencers are protected by the Second Amendment, and the National Firearms Act registration requirement is therefore unconstitutional. The panel agreed on the first point, but not the second. The silencers are Second Amendment arms because Comeaux has not alleged that the NFA shall issue regime has been put towards abusive ends. He has not shown that 5861D burdens his Second Amendment rights. Judge Jerry E. Smith wrote for the majority in U.S. v. Comeaux. The judgment of conviction is affirmed. The ruling elevates silencers to protected arms, creating a circuit split among federal appeals courts that could draw interest from the Supreme Court. It deals a setback to both the Department of Justice, which has argued that sound suppressing devices aren't arms, and to gun rights activists who argue the NFA's regulations on them are unconstitutional. It raises the stakes for the rash of silencer litigation across the United States. And something that this could do, depending on if it's taken up by the Supreme Court or not, is make it to where the states that have outlawed them, like Maryland, you can't have a suppressor in Maryland, as far as I know. In fact, I don't think you can have any NFA items in the state of Maryland. And other states, similar laws, may not be able to enforce those laws. So that's one thing that it hurts, but it doesn't hurt the NFA, it hurts the state's laws. Thursday's case stems from Comeaux's arrest and prosecution after local law enforcement found unregistered silencers in his home during a search over an unlawful discharge of a firearm. Those officials referred Comeaux to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, which determined the silencers were homemade and Comeaux had violated the NFA. He was subsequently convicted and sentenced to 2 years in prison. Comeaux challenged his conviction under the Second Amendment, but had no luck at the lower court. He fared somewhat better with the panel, which agreed with his contention that the Second Amendment protects silencers. However, it ultimately ruled against him based on a binding precedent from another recent Fifth Circuit panel's holding in U.S. v. Peterson. Though silencers are Second Amendment arms, Comeaux has not alleged that. Didn't I already read that part? Oh, okay, no, this is different. Alleged that National Firearms Act shall issue regime has been put toward abusive ends. Judge Smith, the Ronald Reagan appointee, wrote, because Peterson controls, he has therefore not shown that his Second Amendment rights have been violated. So I'm guessing this was a concurring agreement there. Still, the Comeaux panel was willing to expand on what the Peterson panel held instead of assuming without deciding that silencers are protected. Judge Smith definitively declared the issue. Peterson left open the question whether silencers are Second Amendment arms, he wrote. They are. He argued the sound suppressing attachments qualify as arms under the definitions the Supreme Court has relied on in the Second Amendment cases such as New York State Rifle versus and Pistol Association versus Bruin. Okay, otherwise the Bruin ruling. Silencers lead to reduced loudness and reduced risk of hearing loss, lower recoil from the firearm, elimination of muzzle blast, increased accuracy, and faster follow-up shots, Judge Smith wrote. Those are all critical functions that make firearms both safer and more effective for their core lawful purpose of self-defense. Because silencers are used in self-defense to cast at or strike another, they are Second Amendment arms. I don't know about that. They don't actually. I don't know if I would call them an arm. They're more of an accessory.
Yeah.
Additionally, Judge Smith rejected the Department of Justice's contention that silencers aren't full arms because they can't be used as weapons on their own and aren't necessarily for a firearm to operate. Well, unless you want to beat somebody over the head with it, and I guess it qualifies as a club, which would then make it an arm. Additionally, Judge Smith I already read that part. First, Bruin explained that Second Amendment arms need not be necessary for a firearm's function, but instead must only facilitate armed self-defense, he wrote. And second, the Supreme Court has cautioned lower courts against the trapped and amber approach that the government attempts to use by limiting the definition of arms to those devices required for militia service at the founding. Silencers are arms. In the end, the panel decided it didn't matter much for Comeau's case. He needed to prove more than just that silencers are protected arms, and he failed to do that. That's what matters, even if the panel is unsure of the underlying Fifth Circuit precedent. Under our rule of orderliness, we are bound by Peterson, which requires a challenger to the NFA shall issue silencer registration regime show that the system has been put towards abusive ends through exorbitant fees or lengthy wait times in processing license applications. But Comeaux fails in the same way as did Peterson, Judge Smith wrote. Comeaux claims that the NFA is unconstitutional as applied to him because he seeks to possess silencers for the lawful purpose of self-defense. But he does not in any way rebut the I can't talk. My mouth's dry. So give me a second here. Get a drink.
Yep.
Thus, Comeaux cannot overcome that presumption because the record does not reveal that the NFA has effectively denied him his Second Amendment rights. Edith Brown Clement, a George W. Bush appointee, wrote a concurrence that further called Peterson's core holding into question, joined by Judge Kyle Duncan, a Donald Trump appointee. Judge Clement decried the Peterson panel's reliance on a single Bruin footnote. Peterson embraced footnote 9 with open arms and read it to establish the presumptive constitutionality of shall issue licensing regimes. But read in context, footnote 9's rule was much more modest, as it simply clarified that shall issue licensing regimes are not necessarily unconstitutional just because may issue regimes are. Bruin did not resolve the shall issue regime question, but rather invited courts to independently assess the pedigree of shall issue licensing regimes against the historical record. They argued that Peterson traded history for dictum. They said the Peterson panel added a new half step to the Supreme Court's Bruin test. This new half step requires Comeaux to overcome the NFA's presumptive constitutionality by showing that the NFA has been put toward abusive ends through exorbitant fees or lengthy wait times in processing license applications, Judge Clement wrote. So Comeau's challenge fails not because of history and tradition, but because he does not rebuke the presumption that the NFA shall issue regime is lawful by asserting that it is being put towards abusive ends. This rule is incompatible with Bruin's two-step method. Judge Clement ultimately said the full Fifth Circuit should re-examine the idea. Peterson problems therefore abound, she wrote. While the court is bound by the rule of orderliness, Peterson requires revisitation. I urge an en banc court to recalibrate our Second Amendment jurisprudence to reflect text, history, and tradition, not interest balancing. So, what do you make of that?
That one's tough. It's an awful lot to take in.
You got Vulcan Rumble out there on the YouTube side. So, evening, sir. But yeah, I mean, basically they're saying that, yeah, they can be regulated. Are they protected to firearm? Yes, according to their ruling. But again, this is only a three-judge panel, and one of the justices wants the full fifth to take it up en banc, which would be
Right.
usually a 7 to 9 person panel convened from everybody who's a member of the Fifth Circuit.
Got somebody jumped in here.
Yeah, it looks like barbecue, possibly. Hello, who is there? You're muted. Oh, well, once I figure out where the mute button is. Yeah, Packer says the problem is the Peterson case limited how they could rule. Yeah, they're bound by prior precedent, but they could change. But I believe the Peterson ruling was en banc, so it's going to be harder for a three-judge panel to overrule it, which is probably why the justice who said that she wants it to go en banc wants it to go en banc, because they personally, as a three-judge panel, can't touch Peterson. Be interesting to see if it does go to an en banc, which it should. I guarantee one of the two sides is going to want to appeal that, and the next step in appeal would be to the en banc court. Unless the en banc
Right.
court doesn't take it up, then it goes to the Supreme Court after that. I guarantee neither side is happy with that ruling. Well, I don't know. The prosecution, they could be, just decide not to appeal it because the conviction stands either way. And with what we're seeing out of the DOJ with them suing the various states and whatnot for Second Amendment violations, I'm not sure the DOJ would really wants to touch the case in the first place. To be honest, this I believe is a case that stems from the Biden administration. So whether the Trump administration DOJ, which again with the changes that are being made to the Civil Rights Division under the Trump administration with the they're having an office specifically for Second Amendment rights and all everything. I'm not sure they would want to even prosecute this case. A lot of times you'll find this Justice Department having to take on a case not because they want to, but because their hands are tied in there and they have to because of the way laws and even the Constitution are written. And they may not agree with a law, but have to prosecute it because they're the ones charged with prosecuting it. I guess Barbecue may have just jumped on here just so that.
Oh, he just unmuted.
Yeah, muted.
Apparently, I had to give permission to unmute what the frig.
Permission from who?
Yeah, you got my permission.
Say, apparently the Rimbles was asking for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was sitting here clicking the unmute button. I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's not unmuting.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't anything on my side. I didn't have to authorize it, so I don't know what's going on. That's odd.
by the way, happy Father's Day, gentlemen.
Thank
Same
you.
to you.
Thank you.
Ditto.
So, have you been listening, Barbecue?
I have.
And what are your thoughts?
Still curious how anybody does the mental gymnastics to call suppressors an arm. Accessory, 100%. With the definition, or shouldn't say the definition, but the reason they gave to qualify a suppressor as an arm is say you can meet almost all of those things with anything that you attach to a firearm, whether it's making the firearm safer, higher rate of fire, slower rate of fire, easier to wield, in this case, quieter. Like, with this logic, a scope is an arm and can be and at some point probably will be regulated by the AFT. A butt stock for your AR. Yeah. We obviously already see it happening with the pistol braces, but just a plain Jane butt stock, collapsible, does the same thing. Makes it easier to wield, could be safer because you can fit it to your specific body size, all those things. Heck, the Magpul could end up regulated under the NFA because of how they do these mental gymnastics.
One could say that the butt stock, not just because of the brace, but because of the SBR requirement in the NFA, already is regulated as an
Yeah.
arm. Yeah.
Additionally, the idea that they didn't prove a burden to their Second Amendment rights, the $200 tax stamp itself is burdensome. The form and everything else that you have to send in, the fingerprinting, everything else is burdensome, period. I don't have to go get fingerprinted to vote. I don't have to go get fingerprinted to exercise my right to not self-incriminate. I don't have to go get, anything for any of these other rights. The government would try and draw a parallel, if anything, to if you wanted to exercise your First Amendment right and having to go get a permit to, have some sort of protest or something. But that's not just one individual. That's a gathering of individuals where you're planning on, taking over a park or, whatever the heck this space is. So that, again, that still wouldn't be analogous to something like this, where it's just one individual.
And on that point, we've seen mass gatherings where they didn't even have permits. Take all the protests that I got in Portland and other areas. Those and Antifa people, you know damn well they're not going out and getting permits. Were you going to say something, Gary?
Other than that, this mic sucks.
Me, no.
Oh, okay.
I was muted. I'm innocent.
Packrash says they gave good ammunition for their ruling to be overturned. Again,
Where's this out of?
the one justice did say that she wants us to go en banc because she wants the Peterson decision, which they're having to make their ruling based on, to be overturned, essentially. So we'll see what happens when it goes en banc, because, like I said, at least one party in this case is going to appeal this, but because he doesn't want to go to prison.
Well, they said the Peterson ruling was made in what, 89?
No, that wasn't that long ago.
I thought they said something, or I might be thinking of something else. I apologize. But either way, there's precedent where things do get overturned. Like, obviously, this court is bound by whatever the Supreme Court has ruled, theoretically. But at the same time, when you have something like Bruin, or I fucking hate that. I apologize. Nice Serpa, and say, like, I hate that we just call it Bruin because it's easier and shorter. Like, one, that was the anti-gunner. Two, the guy that you're calling it for lost. Like, the prick. I digress. I apologize. So, anyways, when things like that come about, then that can shift the bar of where and how everything was analyzed. However, like this said, they're kind of adding in a small little extra step to the NYSERPA v. Bruin decision.
And for the record, the Peterson case they're talking about was 2025. It was United States v. Peterson 161 F4 331 Fifth Circuit 2025. Certiorari denied at the Supreme Court. That's directly from the
I'll have to
decision.
Check. I haven't heard about it.
Yeah, that's directly from the decision in Comeaux. This case, the case we're talking about. I went and looked in the ruling to see what case they were talking about when they were referring to it as Peterson. That's the one they're referring it to.
Yeah, after I said the 1989 thing, I was like, wait, nope, I'm conflating that with something I watched earlier that was talking about a Supreme Court precedent that was set out in 1989. But here's the thing, too. This is just circuit. So I'm guessing this whole thing is out of the Fifth Circuit as well. That you just okay. So
the reason why Peterson takes precedence is because that was a total en banc decision. En banc decisions override panel decisions. So they're bound to buy it because it was en banc.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, and so in that case, they very well could just go and trample all over what the hell they said in Peterson, kind of like Supreme Court did with the Rahimi case after the NYSERPA decision.
We may have joined that on YouTube side by M. Gabriel, and he's asking who is wrong. He's asking who you are. That's barbecue. Guns and barbecue.
Evening.
It's en banc. ENBANC. En banc. It's a French term.
En banco.
Basically, it just means the group, which isn't even technically accurate because it's not a whole group. It's just depending on the court and how it's at the time, to either between 7 and 9 judges on the panel out of all the judges that are made up. Some of the circuits have like 30 judges on the circuit, and there's no way they're doing a 30 judge panel, so they narrow it down to a certain number of judges to make up a panel.
It's always fun with circuits like that because sometimes they have a rotation, other times they cherry pick depending on the case. It's disgusting. And say the Ninth Circuit was doing one, wasn't it the Ninth Circuit where all the judges were going to be in on that one?
Well, that had to have been fun.
I think that was going to be in California, if I remember correctly. Wish Dean Foss was here; he'd be able to fill us in.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm remembering correctly, it was a case out of California or Oregon, and they went en banc, but they didn't like how it turned out, so they're like, "No, we're going to have all the judges hear this one." But in doing so, the left judges versus the right judges, they have a small edge, I think of like 2 judges. So they can get the ruling that they want. So essentially they're throwing out the en banc opinion so everybody can hear it, which I was like, that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Way to move the goalpost.
Yep. Oh, that's what they do.
It's like the umpire sliding home plate out of the way, going, I don't know how you missed it. You're out.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it's impossible to do that if it's an actual home plate. It's got like 6 to 9 giant nails in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
They're about 3 inches long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulling one of those things up is a son of a gun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like the ones they had in the parks in Pittsburgh. They were concrete poured into the ground. There's no way you were doing one of those things. It was the only base that was there
Yeah.
permanently. You had holes in the ground where the other bases went.
Speaking of friggin' baseball, not to like derail the chat or anything. So Slider, I had bought him a pack of collegiate national team cards, and this is the second one that he's gotten. So I told you we've gotten 3 Paul Skeen rookie cards so far. Tonight, my mother was over. I was like, "Hey, you know what would be cool?" I was like, "You should go get a pack of cards, rip it open with Nana." He's like, "Oh, cool, yeah." So he goes and gets a pack of cards, and like she actually was reading off the names because I can't see the names. I would have to take a photo of every freaking card, and then sometimes the photos aren't clear because I'm trying to hold the phone with one hand and hold the card with the other, and blah blah blah. Anyways, she's like, "You got this player, that player," and she goes, "Paul Skeens." I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's a 2026 box. He wasn't in college. That's a collegiate national team box." It's an insert card. But it's like, you got to be freaking kidding me. He got another freaking Paul Skeens card. The cool thing was, because she was opening it and reading it, like, I would have just put that into the sheets with all the other collegiate national team cards that he has. I wouldn't even realize that we had a Paul Skeens sitting in that. Just happenstance, she opened that one with him and read them, and I was like, holy cow. Ungraded, that card could very well pay for the whole box. I was like, hot damn. I mean, granted, I'm not selling them or anything, but kind of nice when you get uh, a card that's worth the box or then some.
Hmm. Well, your kid's going, man. He's going to drive the value of the Paul Skeen cards down because it's like every pack he opens, he's getting one.
Right? That, or he's gonna drive them up just because he's got them all. What happened to the rest of them? I lit them on fire, so I'd have the only one.
But, Did you hear from the beginning of the show or?
No, I turned on the show right before you started reading that, and then I was like, you know what? I can jump into the show tonight instead of just giving Rich a bunch of BS out in the chat about how Rumble sucks. I've got the new desktop set up, so which then I'm having trouble getting it to unmute. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I've got my screen zoomed into what 450%. Oh no, 400%, 400% right now. So that little message that was saying, "Hey, we need your permission to use your microphone." I wasn't seeing that. So after I moved the screen around, I was like, "Oh, there."
So, with that in mind, what would your opinion be on these YouTubers that only seem to read part of a court decision before they go and make their video with that, and give completely false information saying that cases like this are a blow to the NFA when it actually seems to more strengthen it?
Oh, well, if that's what they're doing, there's a couple things. So, well, one, I don't know who you're talking about, which I really don't care who you're talking about because you guys know me. I'm just going to call it as it is, or well, at least how I see it. Which remember, folks, you too can be right all the time. You just have to think like me. That being said, there's a couple things. Either they're being willfully misleading. Option 2 is they're clickbaiting. Option 3 is they're just a complete ignoramus and myopic. Quite obtuse, if you will. And think everything is a slam dunk. Nothing about this case is a blow to the NFA. The guy still has a conviction that holds. Nothing was like, oh yeah, the government can't regulate these because of X, Y, or Z. They do mental gymnastics to get to the point where they're like, oh, yep, this is why these are arms. Which, like, I mean, I already said exactly why that is flawed because anything that you could attach to your firearm could then be rolled an arm, which in a sense is because if it's not an arm or considered vital to it to function, the government could just as easily say, we don't want you to have that. So it's a double-edged sword, I think.
If you want to know what channel sparked this, it was Guns and Gadgets. Jared.
Figured.
Yeah, he's the only person I've seen put out a video so far that I've seen on the case saying that it was a blow to the NFA. Everybody else is saying no, this isn't a blow to the NFA.
Boss sent me a video earlier today of the new ATF director sitting down with Coleon Noir. I found it interesting. At first, I was really enjoying it. There's some stuff at the end that I was like, but I then messaged Foss back, said I'm going to have to give this a second listen because of those mixed feelings. Which, I mean, you can have mixed feelings. You very well could just be like, oh, yeah, at the beginning, he was kicking ass with this interview. And at the end, he kind of fell out. Like, that happens. But I want to make sure I didn't have any preconceived notions or anything like that, that I was really listening well, things like that, before I make a final judgment. So I'm going to listen to that again. It was pretty good, though. I mean, as far as ATF directors, I think this is the best one that we've probably ever had, period. Does that mean he's flawless? No. But as far as having a pro-gun ATF director, I think this is probably the best we're going to have.
Mm-hmm. You got to take consideration the guy's human just like everybody else. Or people are going to make mistakes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So,
And say, one of the things I just said is he's pro gun. He not necessarily pro 2A. And that's a conversation that we've had many times over the years. What's the difference between being pro 2A or pro gun? So, and that's why I had worded it like that. Uh, he's former law enforcement. Well, technically, he still is law enforcement because he's working for the ATF. But like that's where his background originates, was law enforcement. It's not like he's some pencil pusher that worked on committee to get somebody elected, and then through a couple of favors and a handy, got put in this position and that position, and then just glad handed their way up. This guy is a blue collar type worker that just worked his way through by the way it seems. But with that, again, which I don't mind the black and white with him regarding the law. It's nice. He doesn't seem to be very ambiguous with anything, which I like.
yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to watch the video yet. I've been waiting until I have a time where I can sit down and watch it and not have interruptions.
Yeah, like
But
one of the reasons I want to watch it back again, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything, that I didn't misunderstand anything.
right. But from what I have heard from other people say about the interview, and in conjunction with the interview that we watched on this channel with the lead counsel for the ATF, I think we might have reason where we could be cautiously optimistic at this point with for the time being.
Yeah,
As soon as somebody else gets in there from the other side, this is all going to get reversed.
1,000,000%.
But for the time being, I think we can be cautiously optimistic on some things maybe going our way for once.
But the thing is, we've only got 2 years left of it then. I mean,
Mhm.
theoretically.
At
Because
a minimum of,
if
well, let's say a minimum of 2 years.
yes, let's say let's say JD Vance were to win the next election, which is a possibility, but that doesn't mean that he keeps this guy as a ATF director. He could appoint his own ATF director. He could just fire this guy and have an interim ATF director, like happened from Obama's second term up through when Biden got in. We went 6 or 7 years without a
Yeah.
true acting director, or not a without a true appointed director. It was just a acting director.
Hmm.
But that's one of the issues, is the ability for a new cabinet to come in of a different view and go, all right, this is the new director. You're going to do what I say because you work for the Department of Justice, which is under the executive branch. So if we want you to screw everybody over, that's what you're going to do. And these people are beholden to those people that appointed them. It's amazing that I shouldn't say amazing. Like Pam Bondi, I think was a poor choice in the first place. I never liked her as an appointee, and then Trump ended up not liking her, and he's like, "All right, you're fired."
Yeah.
But with that, every time you get a new party in there and they switch things around, that leaves the door open for like the bump stock stuff. It's legal. It's not legal. It's legal, and you can shoulder it. It's not legal. If you shoulder it, it's an SBR. And it's like, what? These were bought in good faith. You said this, and more were bought. Like at that point, it anything that's going to be once the agency says this is legal and this is how it's legal and more were bought in good faith on that, any restriction should have to go directly through Congress.
One of the problems was that you had companies who weren't getting their product evaluated by the ATF, just using the letter that was applied to SB Tactical and using that to say, hey, look, our brace is legal too, when their brace didn't operate anywhere near like what SB Tactical brace did. So it's like, you can't do that.
100%. But at the same time, I mean, like I have an SB tactical brace. I have a fin brace. I've got a knockoff SB tactical brace from Amazon. Um, honestly, there's not a by the way, there's not a whole lot of difference between the true SB tactical brace and the knockoff from Amazon, except one was $25 and the other one I don't even know how much it was. I got an incredible deal on it when I purchased it with something else. But some of those SB tactical braces are several hundred. Um, and the knockoff from Amazon and the SB Tactical, other than slightly better build quality out of the SB Tactical, there's really no difference.
And I've said it before on this channel and probably somewhere else, like Gary's channel or something. Those fin braces are pushing the line. They really do. Especially when they had that one device that they tried marketing saying it was to protect it during shipping, and basically it added a butt pad to the end of the brace. I don't know if Gary doesn't remember seeing those, but I don't know if you remember seeing those or not,
I
Mark.
didn't ever see that part that you're talking about. The fin brace that I have, uh, trying to remember how I acquired it. I think I purchased it with uh, a build kit that I had ordered. Um, and honestly, really don't think it's pushing the line. The SB Tactical brace, if you're going to shoulder something, far more uh, comfortable than that fin. You're talking about just
That's not that. I'm saying, but if you look at some of these minimal butt stocks,
Mhm.
they're not much wider than that fin brace.
Let's say the fin brace I have. I mean, it's thin. I wish I could think of honest a number two pencil, probably a little bit wider than that fin brace that I have. That's not going to be the most comfortable thing to shoulder
No,
and fire repeatedly. I mean, granted, it's only 223, 556, but if you're putting plenty of rounds down range, that's going to get sore. I mean, you're talking about a very small point of surface area that's constantly being pounded on there, as opposed to 2 inches wide, 2.5 sometimes. Again, that SB tactical brace that I have, the knockoff from Amazon, both of them, very wide, comfortable. If you wanted to shoulder those,
as he says, the ATF should not be establishing law; they should be enforcing it. The problem is that the law, when it comes to what is and isn't a butt stock, is so ambiguous. They have to make snap judgments as to what qualifies or not, because there is no set definition under the law what constitutes a butt stock and what constitutes a brace. That's one of the things that the chief legal and counsel that stated in his interview was that they're bound as the law enforcement agency that has to enforce the NFA to try and make these judgments as to what is or isn't, because they don't have any other choice, because Congress didn't give them a definition for what it is. So
that's another.
basically, what he's saying is it's Congress's fault that they don't know whether a brace is a buttstock or a buttstock's a brace. They don't know because there's no clear definition that they've been given.
That's another thing that I want to watch back that interview for, because the new ATF director actually went into exactly why it is that they can make these rules or laws, um, and why, with how that was supposed to work and stuff. I didn't get to, and that's one of those parts where I didn't get to listen to it 100%. I had some other stuff going on. Um, but just the way he started off with the wording and everything, I was like, this is very intriguing.
Packrat's asking if we mean the blade style braces. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the blade style braces. I mean, if and a clearer point to what I'm talking about with the blade style, look at the what do they call them? The fuse, not the fuse, the style of stock brace that or stock that the little things that turn your P365 or P320 into a carb PDW, right? You got one version that's a thin little piece that's offset to the side. They label that one as a brace. That same thin piece of plastic in the center, they're calling a stock, and it's the same width as what one of the blade style braces would be.
Another thing, like with that SB Tactical and the Amazon knockoff, those have a small little lever on them, make it really easy to adjust the length. At least the fin brace that I have. I haven't seen every single one. I haven't handled every single one, et cetera, et cetera. But the one that I have, it is not that easy. It's got little nub on each side that you have to pull down with your thumb and forefinger, and then try and slide it back and forth.
Well, the original Shockwave blade had a set screw that went in up into the basically pushing against the buffer tube,
Yeah. Well, another one
holding it in place.
that is very, I think, should be a open and shut case of, oh, this is a brace, are the ones that hook around your forearm.
Oh yeah, those ones they're a brace. Those are a brace. But even those are even more stable than what the SB Tactical.
Oh,
If you want to shoulder it, because it's aluminum or plastic ring basically.
let's say, but those were outlawed as well when they had done that new uh, rules definition and everything. I mean, obviously, court cases now, it is what it is, which could just revert back under a new administration, but for the time being. But even those, they were like, nope, those could be a stock, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, who's gonna want to shoulder that? It's literally got a hook to go around your forearm.
Well, they folded up and the hook clipped into place, which made it a solid piece. There was a ring basically.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've seen somebody that made an attachment where they could put basically they took a board and rounded it down to where it fit in there, and then they had a butt thing on the butt pad on the back of the board that was basically they made an attachment that made it into a stock.
But even then, at that point,
You could do it with an SB Tactical brace just as easily.
yeah, what I was gonna say is at that point, that's somebody modifying what should
Mm-hmm.
clearly be a brace to then potentially be a stock,
Right.
which that'd be no different than going and purchasing an AR lower, drilling the third hole.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I love how Magville tries to get around the whether their brace is a stock or not by putting the quick detach point on the back of it. Because theirs is thicker than the other blades on the market. They put the quick detach socket right there on the back, the part where you really go against your shoulder, saying, "No, no, no." See, because if you got your sling attached to it properly, you're not gonna be able to shoulder that.
yeah. What says you, Gary? You're being quiet. Don't let Rich and I use all the words.
But you guys are doing good, though.
We do. We do.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any of these things. The only thing I have that is arguably a quote unquote braced weapon would be that micro conversion kit that I own, which is just basically a plastic holder that you can insert a Glock 19 or 17 into. And as it came out, it had a foldable brace, which could easily be used to shoulder. But arguably, if you look at the design of it, it's designed as a brace. It's got the rubber grips on it and everything to go around the arm and everything. When all the hubbub when all the hubbub came about that, I purchased a basically a kit that you could convert that to just basically it was a flat plate that went on the back of it and removed that entirely.
Mm-hmm.
That was their solution. So people wouldn't have to throw them away basically. And they instead of well, it wasn't a flat plate, it was actually kind of a well, and if you open it up you could store stuff inside of it. Kind of like a little hidey hole. Have I used it in the last 5 years? No. Have I ever used it anywhere other than on the range? No. That was only one time. So it was fun, but it's not anything that
No.
ever became a go to thing for me. But it was cheap when I bought it. So
Ozzy's saying braces aren't allowed in Illinois. He has to have the round tube with the foam cheek pad. Now, are you allowed to have the snap-on or the bolt-on cheek riser for the pistol tubes in Illinois? Because that could be an option too. I don't know if you guys have seen those.
mm-mm.
It's basically a cheek pad that it's got plastic and then like a cheek riser would have on a rifle, you know, on it, and you put that on the pistol tube, the pistol buffer tube.
I saw this thing at SHOT Show a couple of years ago, and it was actually just a big plastic, looked almost like half a stalk or something like that. And it had the part that went up against your shoulder, and then the other end of it was basically contoured to fit the shape of, let's say, a pistol. And you could just basically hold the pistol back against it. It didn't actually attach to it per se. It was just kind of a kind of a recoil device.
Ozzy says yes, they are allowed to have those in Illinois. I'd get one of those instead of the foam thing. At least it gives you more of a cheek weld or another point of contact.
As long as we have these stupid laws, then we're going to have these ambiguous. Can you have this? Can you not? You can have it here. You can't have it there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a damn mess.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Or it was legal when you bought it, but it's not legal anymore. So you wasted $100 or $200 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you paid for this. Oh, too bad.
Packard said the problem with the brace rule is that it was executive branch making the law and bypassing Congress. It was more the executive branch interpreting the law because Congress didn't give them a set definition of what constitutes a buttstock. Either way, somebody was not doing their job properly. But the problem is the ATF every 5 months was giving you a different definition of what constituted a buttstock or a brace because political reasons. Let's be honest, it was political reasons. And some of that may have been people continuously asking them questions, so they didn't know what the hell to do with it. At least under the Trump administration. Then when you got the Biden administration, it was political, all the way political. Sometimes it's best to leave well enough alone instead of continuously writing letters asking questions. If you don't bring something to their attention, they may not notice it and may not decide that they have to make a ruling on it. So, any other thoughts on this before we move on to something else, which I don't even know what we're going to move on to? Guess not.
Is it time for the bracket yet?
I didn't put together a bracket. I didn't have time to put a bracket together.
What were you doing all day that you didn't have time to do?
Well, slept the good part of the day, and then kids were over, so
I did not have any kids. I did sleep some.
Paragraph said the bad part is Congress allowed it. The bad part is Congress never clearly defined what a buttstock is and what isn't, which is what the chief counsel was complaining about. Was that Congress? He flat out, if I remember right, in that interview, said that Congress needs to go in and define if they're going to have this NFA define what a buttstock is, so that we know what the hell we're regulating and how we're supposed to regulate it.
Yeah, what Rich said.
It's not so much that Congress allowed it as Congress facilitated it. And if you remember, if you look back at the Congress that was in place when the Biden administration's buttstock rule went into place, they were going to be in lockstep with it. That was the Pelosi controlled House and the Schumer controlled Senate. So there's no way in hell that they were going to stop what the ATF was doing because they agreed with it. Hell, they probably thought it didn't go far enough. What else going on, guys? Anything? Yeah, that was the main thing I had today.
Royals lost.
Pirates won.
We won out of 3. We just lost the third game of the series. 12-10.
Pirates only won one against the Colorado. It's like, what the hell? They didn't do good against the A's either. Two of the worst teams in baseball.
I'm a little stiff and sore today after spending most of yesterday afternoon at a high school reunion on my feet. So
Whoa, the A's must have started taking steroids or something. They're in second place in their division in the West now. Wow.
Getting lessons from Jason Giambi.
Right.
So you inject it here.
Sounds like Moneyball.
Can we bring steroids back to baseball, please?
I don't think they're federally allowed.
Just say that everybody passes his drug test. That's pretty simple.
I believe they're monitored.
Every once in a while, you got to fail somebody, but
Aren't they monitored now or some nonsense? Everybody forgets too. It wasn't just baseball that the steroid scandal was going. That was also in the NFL. It just wasn't as big a news as what it was with the because you didn't have a home base in football. But they were cracking down on the NFL too. Remember who was it? Bill Romanowski got popped for steroids. Remember he had that big case he tried saying was just vitamins. That was around that same time period. Oh, speaking of baseball, do you see the federal government said that they're going to be investigating Major League Baseball's Pride Nights for forcing players to participate that didn't want to,
Mm-mm.
saying it's a violation of their First Amendment religious rights.
yeah, I don't see how that's possible. It's a private, well, I mean, not necessarily private, but it's not the government. If MLB says, "Hey, you're working under our banner,"
It's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
and say this is no different than the people, because you got so many people right now that are like, "Oh, it's bullshit that they are penalizing these pitchers for doing that, and these players for doing that, and blah blah blah." But these are the same people that were cheering when Colin Kaepernick got blackballed from the NFL. It's no different.
Mm. Yeah, it's already been established by the Supreme Court you don't have freedom of speech at your place of employment.
Correct. The fact that we're wasting government money investigating baseball, like what the frig? You want to investigate them for rigging games or something like that? Okay, I could see that because sports gambling, stuff like that's a big deal. But saying, "Oh well, you can't say that they could," sure they can. It's no different than the NFL cracking down on a guy that decided to wear pink cleats all season because his mother had breast cancer. You can only do that during Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
The one way I could see them possibly doing this because they have individual contracts.
Mhm.
Are they independent contractors? Like what pro wrestling tries claiming that their performers are. In which case, that Supreme Court decision may or may not apply to them, depending on the group of judges you get.
Are they independent contractors if they have a players union?
Yeah.
That's
While they're an
applicable.
independent contractor, they've still signed a contract. Because if you're gonna go with it, 'cause like in pro wrestling, the idea that oh yeah, you're an independent contractor, we don't have to pay you medical or anything like that. You're responsible for all your travel, all this heavy horse crap, unless you get it written into your contract. Is a bunch of crap. Because
I'm not arguing that it isn't. I'm just wondering if they try to use that as a premise for stating that they're not technically employees of the team, they're contractors of the team. and which way the courts would rule on it if that's the argument they try to make.
But even then, you got to look at the structure of each contract. I mean, in this case, it's just going to be the players that are.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm just throwing that out there as a what if.
But even then, every contract
is going to be structured differently.
Well, but you're still going to have the rules where you have to be in uniform. And if that was the uniform, that's a uniform. And if you alter the uniform,
but do each individual contract that the players have stipulate what the uniform rules are, or are they just putting out a rule book ex post facto after the contracts are signed, saying that these are what the uniform rules are?
well, the
like
rules of the
you said, it's how the contracts are.
Even after, because that's like saying you can never change the rules of baseball again, because Shohei Ohtani signed, 3 years ago with the Dodgers, and then whoever signed this season, you can never change the rules of baseball ever again. Then,
well, I think they made some stupid rules for Ohtani to begin with, but
yeah, but
Yeah.
Which goes to the point about independent contractors. They made a rule specifically for one player. How many other players are getting rules specifically made to cater to them?
James Harrison. It wasn't really to cater to him; it was to hinder him.
I'm not saying rules that hinder. I'm saying rules that help. Tommy's the only person I can think of who ever got a rule put in place that's got his name on it that wasn't to rein in a player, but to allow a player to do something that nobody else was doing.
Tom Brady and the Tuck Rule.
And that wasn't just Tom Brady. That was all quarterbacks.
In the end, it helped everybody, but it's not like.
But it's not specifically called the Tom Brady rule by anybody. Nobody
call it that. We all know where the Tuck Rule came from.
Yeah, well, that's because they didn't have a rule on the books to cover what happens in that situation, so they came up with the Tuck Rule. That would just happen to be the play that instituted it. But how many other players do you have out there in the league that are both being the pitcher and the DH in a single game, basically playing two positions?
I'm going to say there's plenty of players that have played multiple positions. Now, it's not consistent like Ohtani.
Not in the same game. Where
that's
you, once you're pulled out as a pitcher, that's it. You should be done.
Unless you're subbed in a new position.
Except you're not going to do that with a pitcher. Once a pitcher's pulled from the game, they can't go back in.
Ohtani's a freak of nature where
they made a separate rule to allow him to not be held to the rule.
The rule's always been you can take out a pitcher and he can continue to play if you sub him in immediately at another position.
But he's playing two at the same time. They got him in there as both the pitcher and the DH. It's not a pitcher that's batting. They got him listed as the DH from the beginning of the game.
Why the? What? So he's in a game where he's pitching, but he's also listed as DH.
Yes.
Because they're only batting 9.
Right.
Still.
Instead of putting him in there as a pitcher and just having him bat as the pitcher, they're putting him in there as the pitcher and the DH in that game. He's playing two positions in one game at the same time.
Even still,
he can go out. He can go out of the game as a pitcher and still remain as a DH in that case.
Again, it's not like they're saying, "Oh, only Shohei Ohtani can do it." Anybody can do it. I'm not arguing the fact that it was brought on because of him.
How many players are doing it? None. He's the only player that's benefiting from this role.
Because none of them were that good. Period.
Babe Ruth could have done it.
Yeah, Ruth could have done it.
Could have. And say, but historically, pitchers are not batters. I mean, hell, I remember when my brother was playing high school.
There have been pitchers that could hit.
100%. Let's say, but historically, like pitchers do not have good batting averages. It's just the way it's always kind of been coached and built in. I mean, in recent years, that mindset has changed with training, things like that. But overall, um, the old thing was, I mean, because like I said, back when my brother was playing baseball and and we're talking high school ball in 2006 to 2010, there was a very, very, very good pitcher for Meadville, and somebody was trying to work on his batting the one day, one of the coaches, and the coach was like, "Stop! He's a pitcher. Don't care. Like all I care about is him being an ace." And that's the old mindset. Um, you did your rotation, you got into the game when you're supposed to go into the game if you're a reliever or something, et cetera, et cetera. But the idea of pitchers, to say that across the board they should just do it, like, no, because most of them aren't, sluggers like that. Otani's a freak of nature, and while they might have changed the rules, like, let's face it, there's a lot of things that they're changing to try and bring back viewership and bring fans back into ballparks. Um, and if you limited Otani to not batting if he's pitching, that would rob people.
I'm not saying don't let him bat. I'm saying don't have him listed as the DH if he's also pitching that day.
Which makes sense. Like, why have the DH at that point?
Yeah, just have him be the pitcher batting, and then once you pull him out as the pitcher, he's out of the game.
That's where the issue comes in. You pull him out, but you don't put him elsewhere.
I mean,
then he couldn't be to bat. However,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, however, if they're doing it the way they're doing it, then even if you take him out, he still gets to continue playing at DH. So it's obviously, Otani's probably the only player that's actually doing it, but Otani is probably really the only pitcher that is that valuable as a hitter to do it with.
Yeah, this is another
reason. But there's a reason for that too. And I'm old enough to remember when Little League, high school, and everything else, there was no DH when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
In youth base, that didn't come about until
we didn't have
the 80s or so, 80s, 90s, before they started taking the DH and applying it to college, applying it to high school, applying it to youth baseball, stuff like that.
Yeah, when I was playing Little League in the 80s, we didn't have DH.
When I was Little League, normally your best pitcher was probably, what is the maximum age for Little League? 12-year-olds. Usually one of your older kids, bigger than the rest of them, could throw a decent hard ball, and he could also hit. So chances are your best pitcher is probably one of your better hitters too. It was very rare for you to have somebody who could pitch and also couldn't hit. But nowadays, growing up with a DH and stuff like that, you've got people, hey, if you can pitch, I don't care if you can hit, we're going to have you pitch, and stuff like that. But that wasn't a thing back years ago. So you had to be able to do both if you wanted to play.
I'm not sure what Little League games or high school games or anything that you guys are playing in Kansas, but NFHS does not do designated hitters, which is the governing sanction for high school sports. Now, obviously, each state has their own body, like Pennsylvania's PIAA, but they follow the NFHS rules, which is National Federation of High School Sports. There's no DH in NFHS. Little League, unless it's changed in the last several years since I had to quit umpiring, we're 8 years. There is no DH there.
I'm just saying, when the DH rule first came about, this was the first point major leagues, was the first time that these pitchers all of a sudden didn't have to
yeah,
hit in every other part of their career up to that, which admittedly for a young baseball player coming up, they could go pro at 18, 19 years old. There was a time when they didn't want college players because they were considered too old for the major leagues. They wanted them right out of high school. Now they do recruit the college kids,
but even then, pitchers weren't necessarily expected to pitch or not pitch to bat well. Like they were expected to bat, and like that was almost a give me out uh, situation where teams expected like, all right, we're gonna get this one, it's pitcher, but that's also back when they just let pitchers throw. Like, how many complete? Rich, Google this for me because I am actually really interested in this. How many complete games were thrown by pitchers last season?
Probably none.
And I'm serious about that. Like,
Yeah,
I
so am I.
did about Nolan Ryan and I think it was a Kansas City Royals pitcher back in what, late 70s or something. I don't remember exactly.
29. There were 29 last year.
Yeah, and there's 162 games, and you got 30 teams, so you got well over 3,000 games where, or no, 30,000, 3,000, yeah, 3,000, well over 3,000 games in the season, and only 29 of them had a pitcher throw a complete game. It's insane. But this game where Nolan Ryan and this other pitcher for Kansas City pitched, they went. I mean, it was a fuck ton of innings. I wish I could remember off the top of my head. I don't want to say something that is untrue, but I want to say they said it was like 22 innings or something that those two dueled it out. I mean, that's unheard of in any baseball. Obviously, because pitchers aren't even throwing 9 innings now. But that's what pitchers were expected to do. They were expected to pitch. Like if they got a good hit or something, hey, attaboy.
Nolan Ryan in 1974 in a game, he's playing for the Angels against the Red Sox, threw 235 pitches in a single game.
Yes.
In a 15 inning effort. That's unheard of today. Could you imagine 235 pitches?
That's like Little League now. They've got pitch counts. Part of that is because, I mean, hell, I have a buddy who had Tommy John surgery when he was, I think, 11, maybe 12, 11 or 12. I don't remember exactly how old we were, but he had Tommy John surgery because of how bad his arm had gotten already. That's part of the reason Little League instituted pitch counts, because so many kids were having Tommy John surgery at such a young age. And part of that was because so many kids it wasn't just a matter of stepping on the mound and throwing the ball hard. It's now I want to throw curveballs, I want to throw sliders, I want to throw knuckleballs, et cetera, et cetera. And those put a lot of torque on your, honestly, the easiest one to throw out of any of those is the knuckleball, as far as the wear and tear on your arm. But a lot of those other pitches put a ton of torque on your arm, and kids were, like I said, having Tommy John at very young ages. Now, I think the pitch count is 65 or 70, and if you reach that, you have to sit, I think, 3 or 4 days before you can pitch again. I don't remember exactly what the numbers are or anything off the top of my head anymore, and they very well could have changed since I last umpired. But yeah, they don't get to throw a whole lot of pitches at a young age. Even high school has pitch counts.
They don't in Major League Baseball either. The most innings pitched last year, 205.
It's insane. Again, you're talking about game 9 innings, 30 game or 162 games for 30 teams. So hold on, I'm going to math that.
Yeah, Garrett Crockett pitched the most innings last season, 205.1. And there were only 3 players that had more than 1 complete game. They each had 2.
By the way, when I said that's over 3,000 games, it's actually 4,860 games. So then we got the 9 innings, 43,740 total innings. And somebody only pitched 200 innings. I mean, just for one team, you're talking
205, and that was the most.
So for one team, you're talking 1,458 innings a season.
Okay, I rechecked it. It's 207 was the most. Still, 205 was the second most.
Right.
Only 3 guys were over 200. Out of the entire league, 3 guys pitched more than 200 innings.
Well, out of the 208, that is, I mean, I don't know. That sounds fairly respectable when you see the math on it. And they're doing 6-day rotations, which means you've got 5 other starting pitchers. That's 15% of his team's total innings for that season.
If you look back in the day,
I realize what you're saying, but
all the top pitchers would have been over 200.
I feel like 15% of a team's total inning count is probably pretty respectable in today's game. Actually, you know what? There's something that I am very curious about, and I need to find out. So back when I umpired Legion Baseball used the MLB rulebook. And with that, I'm very curious if Legion Baseball adopted the pitch count. Or not, excuse me, not the pitch count, but the pitch clock. Because like, there's a couple things that they tweak, but overall, what their rulebook was the MLB rulebook.
Wow, there were not a lot of shutouts last season either.
No.
There are a bunch of. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 shutouts. And nobody had more than 1.
Wow.
According to what American League Baseball does not use the standard MLB pitch clock, but it does strictly enforce an inning time limit or pitcher delay rule to maintain the pace of play. Between half innings, teams have a set time to be ready for the first pitch. 120 seconds when the bases are clear. 150 seconds if a relief pitcher is entering the game.
Yes. That was also the case for high school, is they had a certain amount of time to get on the field, get ready, do their warm-up pitches, throw it down, and be ready to go. There was a couple instances where they weren't organized, and I'm sitting there just kind of like, all right, you guys are eating up some time here. And pitcher would get like 2 pitches, and I would tell the catcher, throw it down. Like, move it along, come on.
When bases are unoccupied, the pitcher is required to deliver the ball to the batter within 12 seconds of receiving it. That's from the American Legion rulebook.
It's interesting. Just get like 12 seconds. Well, 12 seconds is a long friggin' time. But if you got a guy that's farking around at third base, you could.
That's what the base is unoccupied. So I don't know what the deal is if there's a batter on. Or if there's a runner on, it's maybe different.
If there's nobody on, there is no reason not to get that, toss it back. But so yeah, 12 seconds at that point, super generous. I mean, really, like your pitcher better be bending it down and tying his shoe or something. At which point you're calling time anyways.
Right.
By the way, was I echoing throughout this whole chat?
No.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, cool. I say because I had the loop back on and I didn't realize it until just now, so I turned it off. But when we're on StreamYard, the loop back, if I have that on, it was making me echo real bad. Here's a fun question. So with the Otani rule, I imagine they could not. It wouldn't make sense to do it, but theoretically they could put any position at that position and DH then, or was it strictly for pitchers?
I don't know if it's strictly for pitchers or not.
The Otani rule, officially Rule 511B, allows a starting pitcher who also bats for himself to remain in a lineup as a DH even after they are removed from the mound. That's
So
And
basically the way
just
the rules
pitchers.
explain.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, and during the series with the Pirates, they had him listed as both pitcher and DH
Yes.
the entire game. Wasn't like they had him at DH and then had somebody else. I mean, they had him pitching and they had somebody else DH because they wanted him to pitch, to hit. But they could have put the DH for some other player. Does the DH necessarily have to be the pitcher?
No. Well, traditionally the DH has been subbed for the pitcher.
Yeah, I know that, but does it have to?
If a player starts the game as DH and then takes the mound, they forfeit the DH role and cannot bat once removed from pitching. Okay. Let's see. Can the
But they use
DH
a
be
Tommy just as a
for
pitcher that's
any
batting and then
position?
DH for somebody else.
The designated hitter can only hit for the pitcher. This is Major League Baseball. You cannot use a DH to bat for a position player like a shortstop or outfielder.
Yeah, because like I said, it sounds.
It's different in NFHS rules.
Yes. Like also in NFHS, like they do courtesy runners for catchers. So catcher gets say he gets a friggin' triple. It doesn't matter. Let's say first thing coach saying, "Can I get a courtesy runner for my catcher?" That way the catcher can get in, get his gear on, and be ready to go when it's time to change over. Which kind of made it nice for catchers because they didn't have to be fast or anything. They could still be sluggers. Things that might get some kids a triple. They might be pushing it to get to second. They get on base at second. Cool, great job. Time. Courtesy runner for my catcher. And they're jogging in, and the thing that kind of sucks is it's not like it was. I almost feel like there should have been a designated player. Like this is our courtesy runner, and that's all he's doing today. Because they could just put anybody out there that wasn't currently in the game at a position. So, I mean, obviously they're putting whoever the fastest kid on the bench is, but
By the way, if you are familiar with the 1992 movie The Babe, where Babe Ruth in his final season supposedly as soon as he reached first base, another runner could run for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's fictional. It never happened.
I believe it. Let's say things like that in baseball just they weren't a thing. I mean, hell, the courtesy runner for catchers. I'm trying to think when that came about.
Rich, I'm going to share a picture that Ozzy sent me of his son playing baseball.
Cool.
Like it. Say almost looks like he plays for Meadville with the colors and everything. If I didn't know Ozzy was from Illinois, I would think that he lived in my neck of the woods. Obviously, other teams can run those color schemes. I know, but just saying.
And since when did baseball uniforms start having full cuffs on the pants? That looks so stupid.
Oh, it's been a long time. I say
I
there
know,
for.
but it looks stupid.
Oh no, you want to know what looked friggin' stupid? Back when I played, they would actually wear a hole in the bottom of the pants so they could hook them down around the bottom of their cleats.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, this is dumb.
See, we used to have the baseball uniforms we wore. We had white socks, and then you had the colored target socks that went over those, and they had a strip that went underneath,
Yep,
which went inside the shoe. And then your uniform went just below the knee, and then you rolled it up into the sock
yep.
to keep the dirt from getting up in there.
Let's say I played 1 year of All Stars where we had the stirrups on our socks. And say anymore, if teams want a striped sock, they just buy them like that. I would be really interested to see if anybody still makes the stirrups for socks.
But you do see the pro players on on most teams. You'll see some of them with traditional uniform pants, and you'll see some with the full legs.
Yep.
I guess they just have the option what they want to wear.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of uniforms, have you guys seen Colorado's city whatever uniforms?
No.
They're actually not terrible looking like some of the others. I think them and the Pirates had the best looking ones. Theirs kind almost has like a
Ow.
tropical vibe to it with the color scheme, which is crazy being in Colorado. But it's got a mountain on there with like the sun rising, and then it's got like baby blue coloration on it. Actually, isn't bad looking.
Baby blue was the color of her eyes. It's George Strait song.
We're not going to talk about City Connect uniforms.
Yeah, city.
I don't want to
Most of them
discuss.
look like crap.
Well, Rich, how about you screen share Pittsburgh's and Colorado's?
Well, I'd have to find them first.
Well, get on it. Chop, chop.
I have a complaint about Major League Baseball. Why do you need 16 different uniforms? You got to have a Sunday uniform. You've got
Because
alternate colors and stuff like that.
every one
It's
that they make,
bullshit. You have a home uniform, you have an away uniform. That's it.
because it's all a
Mhm.
money grab.
That's what it is.
Well, yeah, they're selling merch.
They're
Yep.
expensive too.
Mm-hmm.
The Royals got at least 5 different uniforms that they rotate between.
Saying nothing, Rich.
I haven't shared it yet. I'm looking for a good one to.
I see a big green dot. It's kind of cool.
Okay. So. They better switch to
Ooh,
the San
San.
Diego one.
Well, you
Way to
click
go.
the arrow, probably.
No,
Click
I
the
didn't.
left arrow. There.
It did that on its
Oh,
own.
it's.
It's
Oh, okay.
scrolling through apparently. I didn't realize it was scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Pirates one.
I like that.
and the bottom's supposed to, depending on who you talk to, the bottom is supposed to. Okay, here it says the bridges. I've heard other people say the skyline, but MLB officially says it's supposed to be the bridges that are being represented on the. If you look at the way the bottom of the letters is on it, it's supposed to symbolize the bridges. I don't know. It looks more like buildings and bridges to me. But, so that's San Diego, Texas. I guess they don't have, because this is 2026. These are new ones, so I guess this one doesn't have.
Oh, there's Kansas City's.
Yeah, yeah. That's the Royals. Some cities they changed this year, so this is only the ones that changed this year.
The blue and
Milwaukee's.
purple color scheme on the Royals supposedly is because the city's logo has that coloration. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a reference to the Kansas City, Missouri Civic logo.
Yeah, Milwaukee's. They forgot how to spell Wisconsin. Apparently, San Diego's isn't horrible.
Yeah, you remember when away uniforms were gray?
Uh-huh. Well, they still are sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes
Sometimes.
they're powder blue. The Royals have powder blue with Kansas City, powder blue with the Royals emblem, dark blue, kind of a contrast.
Yeah, the Pirates away uniforms are either gray or black.
And they'll wear the away uniforms at home just for an alternate jersey too, which is stupid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the black jersey. That's either that can be used away or home. At home they wear it with white pants, or on the road they wear it with the gray pants. Yeah, these are all the new ones this year.
It's about as dumb as those stupid NFL uniforms, throwbacks, or the some of those were butt ugly, like the
Mm.
Packers and
The bumblebee uniform that the Pirates had, or the Steelers rather had, was kind of stupid.
of course, I'm old enough I can remember when major league uniforms didn't have players' names on them too.
Well, you're old enough to remember when you guys played with a stick and a rock.
Well,
Couldn't
sometimes
find,
that's all you had.
couldn't find the actual jersey, but I found the T-shirt that looks like the jersey.
You never went out in the backyard, threw a rock up in the air, and tried to hit it with a stick. I sure as hell did.
No, I
That,
tried to do it with an aluminum bat, and I always get yelled at.
that gives you some idea what the Colorado one looks like. It's not terrible.
It's a softball jersey. This looks like
Not
something you could bowl in.
Yeah, this is the T-shirt, but this is the T-shirt. I couldn't find the actual jersey. The only thing I could find is the freaking T-shirt.
I couldn't find the freaking T-shirt.
But
Some
the
tech guy
T-shirt's
you
made to
are.
look like the jersey. I'm looking through MLB store to see if they got the damn jersey, and all they got's a freaking T-shirt. Let's see. Guess I'll have to search directly for that
In
one.
high school, we only had one uniform. We didn't have home and away uniforms. We just had
Right.
our one. That was it.
Mhm.
Well, hell, now let's say like, and it's like every high school sport. They have like a military week or something like that. So they'll have special uniforms that are like a really shitty camouflage and everything for that week, and all kinds of stuff. It's absolutely bonkers.
I actually like the older version of the Colorado Rockies cityscape jersey better.
Well, when I was in school, you didn't get new uniforms every year.
Yeah.
School probably used the same baseball uniforms for 5 years. They were hand me downs.
Well, that's what they still do, at least around here. Um, each year you get your uniform, turn it back in. Um, a lot of programs now will, do a thing where uh, the graduating class of players, like at the end of season banquet, will be given their jersey as, here you go, great season, great having you play for us all these years. And that's like your little memento from your playing days. Um, which honestly, I'm thinking what happens is they know, like, okay, we got this senior, and that senior. These are the um, numbers that they wear, et cetera, and they just order them at the beginning of the season. That way, they have them at the end of the season. I don't think they give you the ones that you wore in the game because, like for football, there's plenty of jerseys that had other teams' paint and stuff traded on them. And when we got our jerseys at the end of senior season, nobody's jersey had.
No, the only cool thing about football season, if you had a game that night, you could wear your jersey to school that day. I remember that.
Yeah, we did that.
If it was a home game, if it was an away game,
Yeah, I don't think we did it for away games. We did it for home games.
well, if it was away games, we had to dress up, wear a shirt and tie, slacks.
But this right here, that's the old Colorado City, whatever connection jersey uniform. I'd like that better than the one they got now. This one's from 2022. They don't use that one anymore.
Well, these uniforms, the belt looks like something you'd wear to a disco or something like that. Jeez.
Disco is life. Disco will never die.
And then you've got players that have their own custom belts with sequins and stuff like that, and their name, with studs on the back of them and junk like that. It's like
In
they're
baseball,
called
really?
uniforms. Yes,
The hell?
I'm like they're supposed to be uniforms, isn't everybody supposed to be dressed the same? That's what I thought.
Oh
But
hell,
then
look
you've
at it.
got guys that's got their own custom pads with their names on them and shit,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
the guys with
wristbands, gloves.
the arm guard that has the player's name on it.
Probably a
In that
sponsor.
case, that's a medical device, which, I mean, like putting their name on it. I guess you could make the argument that way if somebody else on the team also has one, nobody's mixing them up. But because they get on base, and the first thing they're doing is they're popping off the shin guard, they're popping off the elbow guard. Some players are putting on dumbass sliding mitts. I'm like, are you
Oh,
serious?
these
Oh
sliding
yeah,
mitts looks
the
like you're going to a barbecue, for God's sake.
I was gonna say the ones with like oven mitt. That's what they
Every
What
call
they
them.
time.
are.
I don't know how many times the Pirates and now teams called them. They're putting on their oven mitt because that's exactly what it looks like.
And this play sponsored by Arby's, as the player puts on
Well,
his Arby's
it's
mitts.
cheating. It's cheating if you think about it because the oven mitt is a bit longer than what their hand is. So when they
Yeah.
slide, if there's somebody that
Theoretically.
steals, they can have the tip of that glove, which doesn't even have their hand in it, touching the base and be called safe. Basically, what they're doing is extending their arm. It's like, I don't see how that could possibly be legal, but they let them do it. I don't remember anybody doing that back in the early 90s when I was watching baseball religiously. Now there's at least one player on every team doing it.
Do you remember back when there were teams that didn't allow facial hair?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Reds for years and years, Yankees too, I believe.
Hell, When I umpired, we never enforced it, but high school, you were not allowed any facial hair below your upper lip.
Yeah, that was not a rule with the Pirates. They had guys with all kinds of facial hair back in the
How about
70s.
Paul Skeen's mustache? That
Shoot.
that is such a 70s mustache. Friggin' guys just
Oh,
rocking it.
Brian Reynolds, man, he's got a porn star mustache, dude.
Yeah.
If he's, oh yeah, they were talking about it during the one game. Somebody's like, he's got a Magnum PI mustache, and Bob Walker goes, no, he's got a porn star mustache.
So how many people are still watching this?
Says we got 5 on YouTube and 1 on Rumble. I don't know on
Wow.
X. I never did check to see if anybody was watching on X tonight.
Way to go, Rich. Neglecting your audience.
Well, nobody ever
But to be
says anything.
fair, I think you're the only game in town. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It says nobody watching on X, and yeah, damn it, for some reason my logo is just that green dot again. What the hell?
Motherfucker.
here, hold on, let me get on X here. I'll give you a viewer. Let's see. There you go. Now you got a viewer on X. Of course, it's not going to show you. It says live viewer count is not available for X. So
Yeah, I have to actually go over to X to see.
I just made a comment over there. StreamYard, it'll actually show up when you make comments on X.
Well, X was, and then they stopped doing it again. It's like, what the hell? You said you left a comment on X? I am not seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not
Have
showing
you got
anything
the
in the
have
chat.
you got the have you got the live open with the chat over to the side?
Yeah,
Weird.
showing one view, but yeah, nothing showing up in the chat box.
Hell, what the hell is your chat listed under on X? Unloaded media?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I typed it into the search, but it did not pop up.
Whoa.
Rich, we told you, stop sticking your dick in the cat. Yeah, there's nothing coming up for unloaded media. Just says
try,
something went wrong. Try
try,
again.
try. Oh, you might be having an issue I was having the other day with X. Every time I would try and set it on following or something, the guy would say it wasn't available. Try searching at unloaded media with no space or underscore.
I don't want to hit all those extra buttons. Bad enough I had to search this twice. Dick.
Well, if you're trying to find it,
I'm not that worried about it. At. Well, I guess that worked. There it is. Gay. You're lucky. You are lucky.
whoa! All of a sudden, Gary's countdown of numbers shows up all at one time. It's just boom, all showed up like that. All 10 comments just showed up at once.
Weird.
Hmm.
Uh huh.
Very, very weird. Follow back. I ain't no follow back, dude. I ain't no follow back, dude. 6, 7 times I've been around this track.
6, 7? 6,
Like that?
7.
Like that? Like how I snuck that in?
I saw that. Heard that.
Oh, fuck. What did I just fucking click? Son of a... It's a good thing that Rich says bad words on his chat.
Vulcan Rumble's asking if he can be seen. Yes, we can see you.
I can't
I
see
can
you.
see his chat. I can't see him personally, but I can see
but
I can see what he
we can
said.
see what you're typing.
I don't want to subscribe to
Yeah.
Premium. I just want to leave a friggin' comment.
Do you have? Is that it? Do you have to be premium to leave a comment now?
I never had to before. Whenever I comment over during foul territory, but this literally says subscribe to Premium, where I should be able to leave a comment.
It
Let me
shouldn't
go in
be
as my
set that way.
personal account.
What
Let's
if
see.
I?
Yeah, let me check.
Nope. That
Let me
didn't
check
change it.
settings because it shouldn't be set that way. Because I think that's a setting that the channel owner sets, but I don't have it set that way.
Chat shows a bunch of chats from Gary,
Yeah, it
and
shows a bunch of chats from Gary.
it will not let me comment.
Yeah, I should not have it set that way.
Well, you do. What now?
No, I didn't. Damn YouTube or
Yeah.
X does. Because I had turned
when I
that
go
off.
in my personal account, it says subscribe to premium. Yeah.
What the fuck? I had that turned off.
I think that's default on X now.
Oh my.
When the fuck did that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Quick, somebody Google it.
No wonder I don't get comments on X.
That might be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to go back to Rumble. At least people can
Fuck Rumble.
comment over there.
Where the hell would that even be to turn it off?
You
It used to
can't
be you
turn
could
it
turn
off.
that off. You used to be able to turn
No,
that
you
off.
can't turn it off. Nope.
They changed it where you can't turn it off now?
Pretty sure.
Oh man.
Well, hell.
Our Lord and Savior Elon has fucked us on the Rumbles. Now, if you want free speech, you have to pay for it. It's all right. For some reason, I can't comment on the chat here in Rumble. Even the private chat, it's not giving me a spot to comment to you guys.
Huh. That's odd.
Until you realize Rumble hates me.
No, that's true.
I mean, I do talk mad shit on them.
That's why.
Yeah. Like, I talk all the shit on Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
They are fully aware. Says total of 12 now. 1 on Rumble, 6 on the YouTubes, and nobody on X. So how the fuck's it got 12?
How's what got 12?
It's set up here. It says total 12, 6 YouTube, 1 on Rumble, and nobody on X. I don't understand how it's counting 12. Unless is that just 12 total unique views over the duration of the show?
On which?
The Rumble studio here.
Yeah, Rumble tells you 2 different numbers. That's why.
I say because currently you're only showing 7, but it says total 12.
Yeah, but yeah, I was looking. I cannot find that setting to turn that where you don't have to be subscribed or the stupid verified to be able to comment option anymore. That used to be an option where you could turn that off on your live streams, but I guess they don't let you do that anymore. That's bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That is absolute bullshit.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. That's how the Budweiser frogs would say it.
Shit.
That's okay. On my end, Gary's comments disappeared again. Wow. X is all kinds of messed up. Wow. Total 14. Total 13. What? It
Now it says total 6.
says total 6 on screen. If you're
Oh,
looking up in
I
the
just
upper right hand
realized that
corner, it's saying
there's.
total 13.
Yeah.
Like, huh?
Are those numbers supposed to match?
They should.
Okay, cool. Because that's where the ones up top is where I was talking about the total 13 with
Yeah, I
all the
see what
total
you're talking
12
about now. I
earlier.
was looking over at X when you were saying it before. But yeah, that should both be 13 or 14.
Well, this is what you get for using a subpar chat room.
It's like it's doubling. Whatever it's showing on the counter on the screen itself is doubling in the counter at the top right corner in the studio. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yep.
That don't make any sense.
Nope.
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on that one.
I feel like you're just trying to cheat so you can say that you have 500 subs.
Not on Rumble, you don't. It's got 49.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost to his YouTube numbers.
I know.
49 on one channel, 22 on the other. Because somehow I've split my account into two different channels. It's like,
All right. I'm hot. I'm going to go lay in front of a fan. You guys have a lovely night.
okay, have a good night.
Okay.
And happy Father's Day barbecue. So what are we talking about now? Anything? I don't
I don't know.
know. I don't know.
We could talk about guns and barbecue now that he's gone.
Mm-hmm. Mainly what I had to talk about was the thing with the Fifth Circuit decision, and we drew that out over an hour. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then we talked about baseball. We always end up talking about baseball somehow, and it's usually your fault. I don't remember who brought baseball up this time.
It's
I
all
don't remember
my
if it was
fault.
barbecue.
I probably did.
Then we started talking about the fairness of the autonomy rule. Personally, I'm like Pack Rat. I don't like the DH rule, period. And pitchers should have to bat. I've noticed pitching's been a lot sloppier than when I remember it this year.
You know, back when pitchers had to bat, you had a lot less beanballs because if a
Mm.
pitcher started throwing at people, then he was going to get targeted as soon as he come to the plate. That'd put
Yeah,
him
there's
into the
been a
left spot real
lot of
quick.
players being hit. And you got pitchers that are throwing the ball like Ricky Vaughn without his glasses on. Just a bit outside. Christ, it was 2 nights ago against the Rockies, the Pirates game against the Rockies. They showed the ABS thing, not because they were challenging it, because they wanted to show how far outside the guy threw the ball. He threw it 3 feet away from home plate. Like, Jesus Christ. The only time I've ever seen that was in a goddamn comedy movie. When Charlie Sheen's character Ricky Vaughn, aka Wild Thing in Major League, did it.
Got some more Gorn that Ozzy just sent me. Guess he doesn't know your email. So
You know, it's on the screen.
he
Mm,
says it's almost dry. I presume he means the holster's almost dry,
yeah,
not the plastic gun. So
not the blue pistol, no.
right. That's nice looking.
Mm-hmm. The Kellers match well. I'm trying to figure out what Packrat's saying. Just wondering how the Wolford is going to be decided. What's he talking about? I have no idea what he's referencing there. You got any clue?
I believe that's a reference to Wolford v. Lopez, the vampire rule
Oh, okay.
Supreme Court case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because that's not the only place where they do it. There's lots of left wing areas that have that rule in place. New York City's one where it's next to impossible to get a permit to carry in New York City anyway, because they don't even recognize the state's carry permit. Which I think wasn't there just a ruling that said that New York City couldn't do that? I don't remember.
I don't know.
wish we get somebody to challenge this stupidity in court of not being able to carry a firearm in another state, even though you got your permit. They got to recognize driver's licenses. They got to recognize marriage licenses. You'd think they would have to recognize concealed carry permits, which some states call a license. Packer says he remembers when pitchers used to throw at the batter if they did something they didn't like. Oh, they still do. Throw real close to them to brush them back off the plate and whatnot. They still do that stuff.
Or if they call timeout right in the middle of the pitcher's wind up, that tends to piss pitchers off.
Oh, I've seen umpires call a strike on that lately. Apparently, there's a rule where an umpire, if they feel it was intentionally done, they can call a strike or even an out, which would only be fair because if a pitcher does it, they call a balk. There's got to be some way to penalize a batter for doing basically the same thing, you know? Packrat says New York and Hawaii have that rule now. Is it the whole state of New York or just New York City? That's what I can't remember. It's hard to keep track because neither New York State or New York City are gun-friendly areas, to be sure. And New York City does have laws on their books that the state itself doesn't have. So you think any other states are going to ban Glocks?
I don't know. That's so stupid.
Mm-hmm. Makes it even better is that the whatever it was that Glock was it Glock 5 some nonsense, and then the Gen 6 were designed to prevent that from happening. That was the whole point of the Gen 6 and the, what was it, Glock V or whatever.
Yeah.
It was the whole point. They were supposed to make it to where they can't be easily turned full auto, so states wouldn't ban them, and states wouldn't ban them anyway. Hoxie says marriage license. You know it's wrong when you don't have to renew. What's messed up, until the gay marriage ruling, no state was required to recognize another state's marriage license. States basically did it out of courtesy. They didn't have to. And Supreme Court comes down with their gay marriage license. Everybody has to recognize those, so now all marriage licenses have to be recognized. You would think, anyway. It would have. Yeah, I know Hawaii is the whole state. With the New York, I don't remember if it's New York City or New York State that has the vampire law. It's the one out of Hawaii that's being challenged. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with Virginia's gun laws because you got umpteen prosecutors and sheriffs and police chiefs in Virginia saying that they are not going to adhere to the new laws that were just passed and signed by the governor. Like, we're not holding to that. I think their Supreme Court ruled something on the assault weapons ban in Virginia being unconstitutional or something. Saw something in passing about that, which has to make the governor really happy. Let's see. Would help if I could type. Wasn't that one? It was something that the Supreme Court ruled on. They put in place a panel to wake. Okay, they put a panel in place to possibly combine the assault weapon ban lawsuits. That's what they did. Okay. They appointed a three-judge panel to determine whether four lawsuits challenging the state's newly enacted assault weapons ban should be consolidated and transferred to a single court. So that's what they're doing. I know I saw something with the Supreme Court and their assault weapons ban. Anyway, we've been going for 2.5 hours. I think we can wrap this up. Got anything you want to plug or anything?
Yeah, stop by my channel tomorrow night, every Monday night, 9 o'clock p.m., Foul Territory. We go for about an hour and a half. We'd love to have you stop by. 9 o'clock p.m. Central. Thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem. And don't want to be remiss in this, but Ozzy says the DOJ is now suing Illinois' gun ban.
Good.
Or going, yeah, there's been a lot of that out of this DOJ, specifically the Civil Rights Division under Darmeet Dillon. She's been, she hasn't been putting up with this stuff. She said she was going to go after these states, and by golly, she is. So that's a good thing. And if you guys remember last week's episode, I put in the description the link to their website that you can go to report any such violation. If you do so responsibly. Don't just go put any silly little thing. Have an actual legitimate complaint. That's all I ask. Don't make it too difficult on them. And Packrat said New York got struck down, but it was in district court, so it didn't apply nationwide. Yeah. Yep, nationwide has to be circuit court or Supreme Court. It cannot be the district courts. Anyway, on that note, we will bid you all adieu for this week, and we will hopefully see y'all tomorrow night on Gizzard Gary's channel. Until then, have a good night, folks.